Good day everyone. I am Jasper Tasha Amoroso. In this video, I am going to discuss simplifying radicals. Simplifying radicals. Product property for radicals. Square root of a and b is equal to square root of a times square root of b. So we have example. Square root of 36 is equal to square root of 4 times 9 because we need to find two numbers that when we multiply, our result is just the same as our given or equation. So 4 times 9 is equal to 36. Then, using the formula, square root of 36 is equal to square root of 4 times square root of 9. Then, let's get the squared of all numbers. So square root of 36 is equal to 6. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. Square root of 9 is equal to 3. So we have x is equal to 6 is equal to 2 times 3. Next example. Square root of 100 is equal to square root of 4 times 25. Using the formula, we have square root of 100 is equal to square root of 4 times square root of 5. Then, squared all numbers. So we have square root of 100 is equal to 10. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. And square root of 25 is equal to 5. So we have 10 is equal to 2 times 5. Next, product property for radicals. So we have example, square root of 50. Square root of 50 is equal to 25 times square root of 25 times 2. Again, so we need to find two numbers that when we multiply, our result is just the same as our given or equation. When we find two numbers that you multiply to result in the equation, one must be a perfect square. So just like the example of square root of 50 is equal to square root of 25 times 2. 25 is a perfect square. So square root of 25 times square root of 2 is equal to 5 square root of 2. Since 25 is perfect square, so you don't need to put the radical sign and just copy, and 2 has not are not perfect square, so you need to copy. So we have square root of 50 is equal to 5 square root of 2. A radical has been simplified when its a radicand contains no perfect square factors. Test to see it can be divided by 4, then 9, then 25, then 49 each. Sometimes factoring the radicand using 3 is helpful. So let's try this example. Square root of 8 So we need to find two numbers that when we multiply, it can result a square root of 8. So we have 8 square root of 8 is equal to square root of 4 times 2. Then again, when we find two numbers that you multiply to result in the equation, one must be a perfect square. So 4 is a perfect square. Then square root of 4 times 2 is equal to 2 square root of 2, because we squared the 4. That's why we have 2. Then another example is square root of 20. So we have square root of 20 is equal to 4 times 5, because 4 times 5 equals 20. And that's the number we're using to multiply that result to 20. So then let's square the 4. So we have 2 and 5 are not perfect square, so we just copy it. So we have square root of 20 is equal to square root of 4 times 5 is equal to 2 square root of 5. Next example is square root of 32. So we need to find two numbers and multiply to result square root of 32. So 16 is a perfect square and 2 are not. So square the 16 is equal to 4 and copy the 2. Next example is 75. Square root of 75. So square root of 75 is equal to square root of 25 times 3, because 25 times 3 is equal to 75, and 25 is a perfect square. So next is square the 25. Square root of 25 is 5 and copy that 3 because it is not a perfect square. So we have square root of 25 times 3 is equal to 5 square root of 3. So the last example, square root of 40 the is equal to square root of 4 times 10. 4 is a perfect square, so we need to square it. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. And 10 are not perfect square, so we just copy it. So we have 2 square root of 10. That's all. Thank you. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.